Air and naval battles are coming in the next L4, starting with the Vancouver Restricted. Let's quickly talk about what you're going to be needing to prepare moving forward to be able to make sure you've got the best situation available. We are going to be talking about whether or not you're going to be making bombers, fighters, what C units are going to be the best option. And as we already know, when it comes to the C options, when it comes to tanking a base, you're going to want an AD. When it comes to attacking a base, you're going to want a GMD, and so on. But with the new air interaction, you're probably going to see a lot more of those sort of anti-air destroyers in the field, because obviously you can make fleets of these. They are going to be very strong against fighters. Now, as we know, they are making it so that there is a damage difference between the Navy and the air. So even if you have a maxed out 9.2 air unit, it's not going to be as strong as basically a 9-star boat. They're meant to be kind of leveled and comparable to each other. But as you can see in this video, guys, the fighter here is a 37.9 mil 9.2 maxed out unit. It's not even killed one of the bombers from the aircraft carrier. So with that being said, this bomber here does look a lot better in the video. As you can tell, it's a 9.2 Martyr's Watch bomber, and it is doing a substantial amount of damage to the air defense destroyer. But the air defense destroyer at the same time is also doing a lot of damage. And I would honestly say that the Martyr's Watch bomber is by far going to be the better option, purely for the fact it destroys armor much more simpler. But with that being said, I do think that the Vanguard bomber will also, you know, do something decent, but it's not going to be anything amazing compared to the Martyrs. So in previous on the ground, the Martyr's bomber has been pretty much the most, not the most useless, but out of the three bombers, the least used, because it's not as efficient as the other two. But in naval, I feel like the Martyr's Watch is going to be the more superior out of the lot. With that being said, I also do believe we are going to see a lot more fighters now being used in the field, but I also think that's going to bring around a lot more of the anti-air destroyers. Now, because anti-air destroyers, as I said, they can interact with bombers, they can interact with fighters, and they are going to be very strong because of the damage difference. They're actually going to end up doing a lot of damage. So if we look at this video here, we can actually see at the start, this is an anti-air defense destroyer taking out a fighter. And straight away, you can already notice it's dealing a substantial amount of damage straight off the rip. Now, one thing to take note with regards to this is that it did seem to be doing more damage than pretty much what an ATG would do. So I think that the damage here straight away does show that it's going to become one of the most popular. With that being said, I'm sure most of you know in a previous update video that the submarine will no longer take any bomber's damage. If you have a submarine, you cannot be bombed, which means I think you're going to see a lot more submarines running around now, because they just don't want to risk their unit getting bombed from all the different interactions. With that being said, guys, what do you think after seeing this video? I genuinely believe that what they should have done by making this video is used all of the different bombers in the video. They should have used all of the different units and kind of given us a bit more of a broader imagination of what's to come. Obviously, we've only been able to see a couple of the different units, but it does seem to me that the air units are not going to be as good as the C units, which obviously a lot of people were assuming that the air units would majorly override the C units. So let me know, guys, what units are you going to be using? What's going to be your naval units and what is going to be your air unit? Obviously, when you're on the ground, you mix between the bombers and the ground units, kind of just leave C out. And now when you're at sea, we're going to have the mix between the air and the navy, and we're going to be leaving the ground out. And I'm wondering eventually if they're going to be able to mix between ground and navy, because that's the only combination we don't have so far. But I'm not too sure. I don't see a way in which they can do that, but you never know. Maybe one day they'll find a way, but I doubt it, personally speaking. But yeah, please let me know down in the comments, are you going to be using your naval? And if you are using your naval, are you going to be covering it in the skies with a bomber of yours, or are you going to be using a fighter? So far in this video, it does look like the fighters don't really do much, but the fighters are probably going to be more used to kill bombers that are attacking your units, not necessarily using the fighters against the bombers of the aircraft carrier. With that being said, guys, let me know down below. I appreciate each and every single one of you, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.